Hello to all my friends out there in YouTube world. This is Rich J. Tilley, the author. We have made it to chapter 10 of 10 in unsubstantiated advice about life from a middle-aged man, women, and men. Before we get into this chapter, if you've had a chance to check out mybooksandvids.com, my website, you've probably noticed my other book series called The Salesman's Secrets. It is definitely a dramatic story of a salesman trudging through life, but it does cover some of the same subjects within this book: adversity, goal setting, money, making decisions, and definitely, without a doubt, women and men. If you haven't had a chance to read it yet, please check it out. I am confident that you will love it. Unsubstantiated advice about life from a middle-aged man. Women and men. Ah, the woman. One of life's great mysteries, would you agree? From a male point of view, a woman is our yin to our yang, our Venus to our Mars, the Eve to our Adam. In this chapter, I am going to attempt to explain some of the differences between the male and female human species without alienating half my audience. Actually, I've found my reading audience to be way more than just half, at over 70% women, so I must tread carefully with this one. I will try to keep the subject matter light so everyone enjoys it. Ladies, I thank you for your support. I love you. Disclaimer. Also, if you are a fan of the book so far but believe in a different dynamic between two people in a relationship, just have fun with this one and put the correct pieces where they go in your world. Thank you. Let's dive in. Gentlemen, what advice do you seek from a middle-aged man about women? Do you have high hopes that I might know something that you don't? Do I know the secret to everlasting love? Have you heard this time-tested phrase below before? Have an emphasis bar. Hell hath no fury than a woman's scorn. This is a good place to start. I do know that this well-known saying is very true. This means, gentlemen, if we make a woman angry, I mean really angry, the type of anger where the woman feels disrespected, stepped on, abused, and rejected, look out. She could cut up all of your best clothes, or even worse. Please research the 1993 John and Lorena Bobbitt incident to see how bad things can get. Ouch. So taking a slice or snippet out of that incredible story, my first piece of advice here is that we must not go here, fellas. Don't make 'em this mad. Here is a question that we all want to know. How does one maintain a healthy and long-sustaining relationship or marriage? In my extensive travels, I have met and spoken to many wonderful older couples that have been married for over 50 years. This milestone of loyalty is a rare occurrence and a symbol of trust, patience, and profound understanding between two people. Whenever I have a chance to meet these special folks, I ask them, what's the secret? Curious to see how they answer. This is the way it usually plays out. The dedicated male spouse always looks across to his wife, knowing he should not speak without her permission, and cordially lets his bride for over 50 years answer my question on their behalf. This married man for half a century has survived his husband training. He knows what to do. He understands the concept of happy wife, happy life, and still prefers their queen-size bed to the living room couch. After royally trouncing up my first marriage and being part of the always welcoming new members divorce club, I always look to our senior men, who are still with the same woman, to guide me and show me what I may have done wrong in my previous relationships. Through this gained knowledge, I have come to the conclusion that when a man has been married approximately 10 years, he stands down and submits. He bows down to his wife, and in his mind, he has decided he is going to stay put and just ride this one out. He knows that looking at other women is a slap in the face and disrespectful to his wife. Literally, it can be a physical slap in the face for him. He makes a wise decision that it is simply not worth arguing anymore with the woman he loves. He gives in to her completely and craves peace and tranquility in his household, and utters the submissive response for the first time in his life. Yes, dear. Two easy to learn and memorize magical words. Yes and dear. Every loyal married man goes through this introspective realization, but the unwritten universal male creed restricts him to never tell the secret to another man. Other men must find out this magical phrase of, yes, dear, all by themselves. Often you can identify the men that have reached this stage in their lives. These men usually have a bit of a potbelly hanging over their belt, wear their hair a little unkempt, and are usually walking 2 paces behind their spouse in the shopping mall, carrying the bags. Am I right about all this, ladies? Are you digging this chapter so far? He trained the dogs. You trained him, right? I have an emphasis bar here. 2 magical words that will bring peace and tranquility to your household. Yes, dear. Being married for over 50 years is a remarkable accomplishment. But how does this all start? How do we find a partner for life in the first place? I find it amazing just how many people find someone special for themselves. There seems to be a match for everyone in this world. An odd person can find another very odd person. An immensely good-looking man finds a beautiful, stunning woman. A tall person finds another tall person. A person named Jan finds a guy named John. A J-Lo finds a A-Rod. Oops, that line didn't age well, did it? Some of us settle for who we have because of our insecurities and our quest not to be lonely. But when we look around at society, it appears that the overwhelming majority of people do have that special someone, a partner, and a shoulder to cry on during the hard times. It seems like someone always finds somebody. But why does the courting process between a man and a woman have to be so darn complicated? Before I discuss this subject with a personal story, seeing as we really are a species, Homo sapiens to be exact, let's talk about mating rituals in the animal world. The rituals with male and female animals seem to be a little bit more straightforward and easier for humans to understand. In nature, the fierce male lion who fights off all other male competitors wins the companionship of the female lioness. Male domestic dogs, finding themselves in heat, just leap on a nearby female dog's hind end when the female is looking in the other direction and communicate in doggy language. Lift up your tail, babe, I'm coming in. In the jungle, the pretty black bird with beautiful accented wing colors of orange and yellow wins over the female with a flamboyant mating dance and song. Occasionally, the male and female roles can be reversed in the animal kingdom. For example, a female praying mantis seduces a male by emitting a chemical from her abdomen known as a pheromone. The smaller male comes meandering over on a branch, almost hypnotized. They embrace and make love to one another for hours. Then suddenly, with a surprise kiss, the female praying mantis bites a hole into the male's neck, sending him into convulsions, increasing the amount of sperm he deposits into her abdomen for supreme fertilization. To show her appreciation for his sacrifice, she uses her powerful incisors to gnaw his head off while he is still alive, and when he is dead with no head, devours his corpse for nourishment in order to incubate her eggs. Well, maybe this last anecdote isn't the best example we can learn from nature, or the dog example, as a matter of fact. When it comes to humans, there seems to be so many head games and such cruel mental punishment thrown into a fairly simple and natural situation, communicating, "I like you, and I know you like me." I wish as humans we could be more direct like animals, but rejection, harassment, and human feelings come into play during our courtships. It is just not that easy. When I was younger, mind games between myself and a pretty girl that I liked put me through so much anguish and left me in a state of utter confusion. Some devastating situations left me so sad and broken-hearted that I wasn't able to listen to a country radio station for over 6 months. Animals meet their mates in their specific habitat, territory, or environment. We also interact with most other people at our place of work, where we spend most of our time and exercise most of our communication with others. However, dating another person at our workplace can easily turn into a messy situation, especially if the relationship goes sour, or the person we are dating happens to be or gets promoted to our boss or superior. As a result of this dangerous and dicey scenario, we have to resort to finding future mates on social media pages and joining online dating sites. In our desperate search, we join several dating sites that require a monthly fee in search of that perfect someone. And when we think we have finally isolated that ideal human being for us right now, we then find out on our first date together that they work for a subsidiary of the company we work for. Are you kidding me? Here is a simple boy meets girl personal story. This is our last and final story in our book. Only the names are being changed to protect the guilty. Actually, there are no names, and the only guilt falls squarely onto the human race. A story based on a personal story. A handsome single young man finds out through the grapevine that the cute girl he likes at work is now single herself. His co-workers informed him that she has just broken up with her boyfriend. Now, every time this young lady walks by the young man, she smiles and bashfully puts her eyes down as she passes by. The young man observes this behavior and thinks she is showing interest, but can't be sure yet and needs to give it a few more days for a more concrete assessment. Why? Because he thinks if she is not interested in him, number one, she will most likely reject him, and two, it may create an uncomfortable harassment situation at work if he misjudges the cues. The young man can't lose his job over a girl that may or may not like him. It's not worth it. His paycheck and career are more important to him at this point of the game. Boy meets girl story continued. The following week at work, the young girl is now giving the young man the brush off every time he sees her. Sometimes it seems like she is even trying to avoid him and he can't figure out why. He is confused because he was about to make his move. He questions himself. Does she not like me? I thought she did. Did I do something wrong? Behind the scenes, here is what is happening to explain the young lady's new behavior. Another single boy has swooped in and asked her out, and they are currently seeing each other. She can tell the young interested guy at work likes her and does not want to lead him on, so she thinks it is best she shows cold behavior towards him for his own good. The young man is bummed out and disappointed to find out that she is dating another guy. He is angry that he got to her first and goes into private investigator mode to find out who the schmuck is that stole his girl. However, things change again the following week. The young girl is all smiles again and starts initiating conversation with the young man as she walks by. He is confused with her newer behavior and asks her, "Don't you have a boyfriend?" She snidely replies, "Where did you hear that?" He tells her who he heard it from, and she explains that there was a guy, but they're no longer a thing after 2 no-big-deal dates. The young man's emotions are back on high-octane mode again, and he plans on asking her out the next day. The story continues. The following day, the young girl is back to avoiding him again. The young man is confused, and his low self-esteem tells him that she probably thinks he is about to ask her out, and she is trying to avoid the uncomfortable situation. However, what is really going on with her is the following. That same day, she woke up late, did not have time to do her hair and makeup, and felt like she looked like shit at work. She's thinking she didn't want the guy she likes at work to see her in this ugly state, so she thought it was best just to avoid him. The young man is tired of the games and gives up on his pursuit and his advances. He does not talk to her all week, avoids her now, and goes out with the guys on a Friday night to blow off some frustration over women. Fate intervenes, coupled with a high consumption of alcohol, and he ends up going home with some new girl he meets at the bar. In a drunken state, they end up sleeping together. We have a picture of Ed here, and he's saying, "How long is this frigging story?" The conclusion of our story. The young lady finds out through the company gossip hotline that the cute boy that she likes slept with someone else over the weekend. This knowledge causes her to be hurt and heartbroken, and she spends most nights crying in her room, talking on the phone with her consoling friends. She begs a work friend to give her cell phone number to the young man, and for her friend to please tell him to call her because she really likes him. The young man gets the message and obliges. He calls her and explains that things are more complicated now and that he thinks he might have a new girlfriend. He asks her in a confused state, "Why didn't you just tell me that you liked me before?" The young girl diffuses their awkward conversation and keeps explaining their interaction as, "I guess it just wasn't meant to be between us." Several days later, the young man's new girlfriend looks at his cell phone and finds out that he called another girl while they were seeing each other. She is furious and breaks up with him over the incident, calling him a dog and a cheater. He tries to turn a bad situation into an opportunity and goes back to the original girl from work to finally ask her out on a date. He is blindsided when she rejects him. She tells him no because she is concerned that he is a player and that she is worried that he will cheat on her too. As a result of this courtship at work, their workplace is more uncomfortable than ever. One of them will probably have to quit their job, and they both remain single. The end. Do you see how simple the courting process can be between two human beings? I hope this cleared it all up for everyone. One thing I have learned in my life is that women crave security in a relationship. Security is their hot button. They want to feel safe and taken care of by their man, and having a husband or boyfriend with a stable, decent paying job is extremely important to them. They want their men to work hard so they can enjoy the finer things in life and have nice possessions. Why not? Makes sense. I get it. However, they also like to call us at work, asking us when we are coming home several times a day. In today's smartphone world, women like to text us now with the same questions. At least the company secretary doesn't have to take a daily phone call anymore informing Mr. Henpeck that his wife is on line 3. To make our women happy, I have learned that so long as we are at the job site or in the office making that money, and simultaneously at home next to them on the couch or helping them prepare dinner, everything will be okay. I am confused, ladies. How can we be in two places at the same time? What do you want from us? The mega successful book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus also helped me realize that women's brains function very differently from men's brains. The book explains that women just want to tell us about all their problems, but do not want men to offer any potential solutions to them. Women want us to listen with empathy and compassion, but don't want men to exercise our analytical side of our brain that solves problems. Women's desire for men is to listen and not speak, or use a gap in conversation to insert a very heartfelt, empathetic statement of, "Oh, that's just awful, dear." I am perplexed, ladies. Why are you telling me about all your problems? Wouldn't your life be less stressful and dramatic if the problems just went away? Do you like being surrounded by problems and drama? I am beginning to think that you might. Ladies, now it's your turn. Do you want to know what a man is looking for most of the time? Are you listening to us when we speak too? Here's the answer. We are simply just looking for a little peace and quiet in our household. And, oh yeah, one other thing.
And I am not talking about food.
This concludes our final chapter in this humble handbook. The fascinating dynamic between women and men. I think this mystery could go unsolved forever. What do you think? Excuse me, how do you feel? Am I right about all this, or am I just half right? Unsubstantiated advice from a middle-aged man about women and men. After writing this chapter, I am as confused as I ever was. No advice to give on this subject at this time. I am stumped. This concludes unsubstantiated advice about life from a middle-aged man. This is Rich J. Tilley. Thanks for listening around the world. Thank you, everybody. By the way, if you could go to Amazon and leave a review. I'm not looking for anything special. You don't need to give me a 10-star review or a 9 or 8, 7 or 6. 5 stars is more than enough. And let's get this book promoted around the world. I hope you liked it. Wait a second. What do I hear? Do I hear you begging for more? You want 2? Let me hear it. I want 2. I want 2. 2, huh? Well, here's the chapters I'm thinking about in Unsubstantiated Advice About Life from a Middle-Aged Man. 2. Auto repairs. Commitment. Deception. Driving, Part 2. Love is. Money management, Part 2. Tasks. Upbringing. Wishes. Women and Men, Part 2. Guess I got some work to do. Thanks for listening, everybody.